Hey everyone, have you ever been blamed for something you didn't do? Or maybe you felt like you were stuck and couldn't get out of a bad situation? Well, today we're going to talk about a guy from the Bible named Joseph who went through exactly that, and his story is super inspiring. So let's set the scene. Joseph was a good guy, but some people were jealous of him. He ended up working for a man named Potiphar. Potiphar's wife told a big lie about Joseph, and even though he was completely innocent, he was thrown into prison. Can you imagine that? He did nothing wrong, but he was locked up. It must have felt so unfair, like being put in timeout for something your brother or sister did. Now, in prison, Joseph could have been angry and sad. He could have given up and thought, "Why me?" But he didn't. Instead, he kept trusting God. He was so good and helpful that even the prison warden noticed. The warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners. The Bible tells us in Genesis 39, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. This shows us that even in the darkest, most unfair places, God is still with us. One day, two of the king's workers, the royal cupbearer and the baker, were thrown into the same prison. They both had strange dreams and were very worried. Joseph saw they were sad and asked them what was wrong. He told them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me." So they told him their dreams. Joseph, with God's help, explained what the dreams meant. He told the cupbearer that in 3 days he would be set free and get his job back. But he told the baker that in 3 days he would be executed. And guess what? Everything happened just as Joseph said. The cupbearer was freed, and the baker was not. Before the cupbearer left, Joseph asked him, "Please, remember me when you're with the king and help get me out of here." But the cupbearer forgot. He got his old life back and didn't think about Joseph, who was still stuck in prison. Joseph had to wait for 2 more long years. This part of the story is so important. Joseph helped someone, but he was forgotten. Have you ever felt like that? Like you did something nice, and no one even noticed or said thank you? It's tough, but Joseph's story shows us the power of patience and faith. He didn't know it then, but God had a much bigger plan for him. Those years in prison were preparing him for something amazing. So, what can we learn from this? First, even when things are really unfair, God is still with you. He never leaves your side. Just like he was with Joseph in that prison cell, he is with you in your tough times. Second, always try to be a helper. Joseph could have been bitter, but he chose to help others, like the cupbearer and the baker. When we focus on helping others, it can take our minds off our own problems. And finally, trust in God's timing. Joseph had to wait a long, long time, but God's plan was perfect. Joseph's time in prison taught him valuable lessons that he would later use to save an entire nation. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8, verse 28, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good." This means even the bad stuff, the unfair stuff, the waiting God can use it all for a good purpose in the end. So, if you're feeling stuck today, remember Joseph. Keep being kind, keep helping others, and keep trusting that God has a plan for you. Your prison might just be a training ground for something incredible. Don't lose hope. Your breakthrough is coming. Thanks so much for watching. If this story encouraged you, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. See you next time.